Hello, I'm Moira Alderson with the BBC News. 4 senior figures at Downing Street have resigned within hours of each other, putting renewed pressure on the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. They include his Chief of Staff, Head of Communications and Head of Policy. One of them, Munira Mirza, strongly criticised controversial remarks made by Mr Johnson about the opposition leader Keir Starmer. Several MPs from his own party have called for the Prime Minister to step down as police investigate breaches of COVID lockdown rules. Here's Damien Grammaticus.
The most unexpected and damaging of these departures for Boris Johnson was Munira Mirza's. An advisor for 14 years, she said she'd urged Mr Johnson to apologise for attacking Sir Keir Starmer. He didn't. The other 3 seemed likely to go after Mr Johnson promised Tory MPs earlier this week that he'd shake up his team. The question is whether Mr Johnson can stabilise his position or if more of his MPs will publicly call for him to go.
The United States has made public details of what it says is a Russian plan to fabricate a pretext to invade Ukraine. The alleged plot involves a fake video showing an attack by the Ukrainian military. The Kremlin has dismissed the reports. Paul Adams has more details.
A senior official in Washington said Russia was planning to produce a propaganda video featuring graphic scenes of a staged explosion, complete with corpses and actors playing mourners. The official said that military equipment involved would be made to look like it was Ukrainian or from allied nations. If released, the official said, the video could provide President Putin with the spark he needs to start and justify military operations against Ukraine. The official said it was one of a number of options being developed by Russia.
The United States says it did everything it could to minimise civilian casualties during a raid in Syria in which the leader of the Islamic State group was killed. President Biden said he had authorised a raid by special forces rather than an airstrike because Abu Ibrahim al-Shimi al-Qureshi had always surrounded himself with civilians. According to the United States, the militant leader blew himself up, killing members of his family. John Kirby is a Pentagon spokesman.
The calculated efforts of our forces succeeded in protecting more than 10 women, children, and babies. These efforts included a deliberate decision by the president to execute a raid on the location as opposed to an airstrike, despite the additional risk that decision put on our forces.
The president of Ghana has warned that West Africa is in great danger as a result of recent coups. At a meeting of the regional body ECOWAS, Nana Akufo-Addo described last year's military takeover in Mali as contagious. The army in Burkina Faso also seized power in January. World News from the BBC. The authorities in Argentina say they've arrested a drug dealer who sold adulterated cocaine, causing the deaths of at least 20 people. Police say Joaquin Aquino controlled drug trafficking operations in a shanty town of Buenos Aires. More than 100 people were admitted to hospital after taking the cocaine, which had been mixed with an opioid. Peru's new Prime Minister, Héctor Valer, has rejected allegations of domestic violence following calls for his resignation. He was only appointed to the post 3 days ago. Peruvian media have published details of a police investigation against him dating back 5 years, which includes claims that he assaulted his daughter and his late wife. Mr Valer said he wasn't an abuser. Moroccan officials say an operation to rescue a 5-year-old boy trapped for 3 days in a well is nearing its end. The boy, Rayan, fell more than 30 metres near the northern city of Chefchaouen. Rescuers are drilling a large hole parallel to the well's outer shaft, a move seen as the only way to get him out. So far, they say they've dug down some 24 metres. Football, and Egypt have beaten the hosts Cameroon in the second semi-final of the Africa Cup of Nations. The match was goalless after extra time and went to penalties. Egypt will face Senegal in Sunday's final. John Bennett reports from Yaoundé.
For the second time in this tournament, Egypt won a penalty shootout, and this time it ended Cameroon's hopes of winning the title on home soil. Michael Ngadou hit the bar in the first half for the hosts. At the other end, Cameroon keeper Andre Onana made a brilliant block to deny Mohamed Salah. Egypt's boss Carlos Queiroz missed extra time and penalties after being sent off for dissent, but even without him, he held their nerve, and in the shootout, Cameroon missed 3 of their 4 spot kicks. Heartbreak for the home side, and it's Salah against Sadio Mane in the final.
John Bennett reporting from Yaoundé. That's the latest BBC News.